young broadcaster Jared Young here on the set of the 2 Point Perspective with my co-host Miles on the mic, Miles Sweeney, for episode 47. And today's episode is brought to you by Reach and Sons Construction, building championship rosters 1 4th round reach at a time.
Those mid-round picks can be useful.
They can be. They can be, and I took one myself in our mock drafts that we did this week. And that's what today's episode is going to be about. It's going to be about mock drafts. So yesterday, Miles and I each did a mock draft. The fantasy season is coming up. Football season is right around the corner. We got first game in 2 weeks.
Exciting. It's exciting.
The Cardinals are going to lose to the Panthers in preseason at the Hall of Fame Stadium.
But Carson Beck,
Ohio,
is going to throw 5 tutties. And they'll lose on
I think you meant interceptions.
No, 5 tutties. Well, here's what's going to happen. Jacoby Brissett's going to play the first drive. He's going to throw a pick 6, and then Carson Beck's going to come light the world on fire. Book it.
I'm not sure that's how you want your season to start off, Miles.
That'd be so awesome, dude. If
is
he
Jacoby even going to play?
I doubt in the Hall of Fame game. I doubt it. No,
yeah.
I think
do you think he's even going to show up? Like
he showed up.
Did
yeah.
he?
Mm-hmm.
But he's not paid right now.
No, I think he participated.
Okay.
But yeah, in lieu of no new deal. I mean, it's like he's kind of dug himself a hole here.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta. He's already missed everything leading up to this. So Gardner Minshew actually took the first team reps.
Wow.
And
I could see some Minshew magic coming into play for the Cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think he's more familiar with the LaFleur system.
Mm-hmm.
And he was seeked out by Mike LaFleur, and then Carson Beck was with the twos. So Jacoby, you gotta catch up, my boy. Actually, no, I hope he gets cut.
He's no stranger to the third team.
No,
catching the third team reps. So
no, even if he starts with the first team, he'll be back down to the third team by week 4.
Yep.
So, but yeah, exciting. So Hall of Fame game in 2 weeks. Fantasy football season's coming up.
Yes, it is,
and that's going to be exciting as well. So
yeah, and we're going to be involved in a couple different leagues together this season. Obviously, our normal league where we'll have a punishment and we'll be involved with our friends, and we're actually going to keep the buy-in this season. Miles and I are actually the treasurers of the league. We're going to keep the buy-in here on set. We'll have it in a little safe that we'll hang here on set so that it can be seen every single week.
Yep.
And
so we'll have no debacle like we did.
Correct. Yes.
This past season.
Yes.
So
we don't have to get into the details of that. But additionally, we're also going to be in a dynasty league this season, which is something that's new to me. I've never done a dynasty league.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. We're going to have to do some research on how to draft and how that's going to work out. But I'm really excited about that.
So is everyone in this league I assume everyone's starting from scratch because the way it works is you draft your team and then it carries over into the next year.
That's correct.
And the only draft you have is for the rookies incoming. So yeah, if everyone's starting from scratch, it's going to be fun.
Yes.
For sure.
Uh-huh.
And is there going to be, did you talk to them, like buy-in or anything?
Yeah. So it's going to be a $20 buy-in.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting because even if your players get injured, like you don't want to drop them necessarily because that's your franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're going to get into our mock drafts that we did this week. We each did a 12-man mock draft separately.
Yeah.
So some of our picks may be the same. But John, if you wanna bring up our graphic here,
pull.
And John, if you could let us know who's gonna start off.
Jared, you're gonna be starting. One quick technical adjustment I needed to make here because I lost the audio when I transitioned over. All right, can you guys hear me?
I mean,
we can hear you.
We can hear you, but
okay, here we go. So, Jared, you're gonna be up first.
All right.
And the main difference between these two is you picked 5th, and I picked 7th.
Yes.
I was trying to get into one where I could have picked 5th, but
Well,
it
and
just
every
didn't
draft
work
that
out.
I got
so.
into kept giving me the number one pick,
Mhm.
and I was like, no, you got to be in the middle for a
Yeah.
mock draft. You know, you
Yeah.
can't be messing around.
Well, because
taking number one,
then you're just setting yourself up to be like
for failure. Yeah, it
for
doesn't do anything for
the
you.
riches that you're not going to get, you
Right.
know. So
Yeah, so so I think we both did a good job. We were right in the middle.
Yeah.
You were a couple picks lower, but you know, again, it's a snake draft, comes back around, so it kind of all balances itself
yeah,
out.
it does.
But with my number one pick, at pick number 1.5, I took
Mhm.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes, you did.
All the running backs that I wanted were kind of taken off the board. All those first rounders were taken off the board really, really quick, and I just wasn't willing to degrade my first round pick to anything less than what Amon-Ra could bring to the table.
Was there a running back available that you were kind of teetering on?
Between
Him and
and Amon-Ra?
Amon-Ra.
No, not really. Jameer Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, they were all off the board.
Bijan too,
by
I
the time I
assume.
got to 5. Bijan was off the
Yeah.
board, yeah. And there was, you know, Justin Jefferson was obviously up there, but I just don't trust the quarterback
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
that they got going on over there right now. I need to see some consistency, and you know, this is fantasy. It's not,
Right, yeah.
you know, these are not top 10s, so.
Mhm. Yeah, well, with my first pick 1.7, I took Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, so I definitely had less options than you with with a pick in between that. But I was very intrigued with taking James Cook. I know that would have been a reach, but
I thought about it, but it was too early in
Yeah.
that round
yeah.
to go for James Cook when there's
Yeah.
better talent, right?
Yeah, you can get a premier receiver. The
Mhm.
one thing I was a little worried about taking this was Drew Petzing is the new offensive coordinator there, and he has shown that utilizing a wide receiver one is not his strength. So I worry a little bit for Amon-Ra, but I am very intrigued for Sam Laporta. So I was a little like, I don't know, but
I think you got to have faith though that that the connection between Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown is strong.
yeah.
So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I still took him. I still think that's great value. So
Yeah. for sure.
Yeah.
Plus they also lost a weapon in David Montgomery.
They did.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know that just means that more of these guys are going to eat. So.
Right.
With my number 2 pick, I picked at 2.8. Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I needed a running back. He was the best running back available in that second round. 10 out of 10 times, I'm going to take a wide receiver and a running back 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's a really, really good running back, something crazy happened. They fell to me, or a really good wide receiver, something like that. Like
Right.
I'm usually not going to double up in that round 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will go for the whole reach and they'll take Josh Allen in the second round. You're not going to catch me doing that. There's lots
Yeah.
of quarterbacks that are down there that can win you your fantasy league, and while you can pretty much count on Josh Allen to get you 40 points a week.
You can't count on all these other skill positions to.
Yeah, you have to have them. You have
Right.
to have them, and I'll sacrifice 5-10 points here to get 20 somewhere else.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, smart. With my number 2 pick, I felt the love in the air.
I can't
At
believe you did this.
2.6, I took Jeremiah Love, and
I can't believe you did that.
I was being a homer here. I wanted to be a little spicy, but
yeah.
I think he is just so talented, and I think if he's going to be
Sons Construction is gonna loves you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I also just didn't really love some of the other options there. Like, oh man, I'm trying to remember. Like, obviously, I knew like Josh Jacobs was there.
Mhm.
Some of these other guys, but I was willing to take a risk on the rookie because I think he's going to be utilized a lot, and if he can just be schemed well from the LaFleur system, I think he's going to have a really good year. So I was willing to take the risk, and I needed a running back. Obviously, I wasn't going to double up on receivers 1 and 2.
Do you have any concerns with David Johnson coming back.
David Johnson.
Or not David Johnson. I'm sorry. I don't know why I do that every single time.
You talking about James Conner?
James Conner.
No.
I literally do this every time we talk about Cardinals running backs.
Mm-hmm.
You're not concerned about James Conner coming back?
Well, he's not going to be the lead back. No.
You don't think
I
he's going to take more of that production away from Love?
No, and if somebody's going to take away production from Love, it's going to be Tyler Algier. So I think James Conner, he's older. He's coming off a bad injury too. He's going to be the third back.
Just seems like a really crowded room over there.
It does, but I felt the love coming inside me. I felt it in the air. So
Is your MO?
yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. Who'd you take number 3? Or
number 3? I decided to go running back again, and this is because I didn't love the other wide receivers. I'd kind of started to sift through some things, and I started to notice that running backs got real light.
Yeah,
as you get into these later picks, and so I decided to go with Kyren Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Love the offensive line over there with the Rams. I think that with the amount of weapons that they have, it's not like they're going to abandon the run. With the amount of weapons that they have, I think that that's going to draw a lot of the defense away from that run game, just because they have to.
Right.
And so I see Kyren having a really good year as long as he stays healthy.
You can't stack the box against the Rams.
Right.
You got some elite wideouts. If you're playing man coverage, then you might as well sign your death warrant.
Right.
Kyren Williams, because I had him last year and he was very serviceable. I believe he was top 10 to top 7 in rushing yards, so he was very productive.
Going back real quick, if you don't mind, to our first pick, my decision making. You asked me if there was a running back that I was deciding between. It wasn't actually. It was actually deciding between Amon-Ra and Puka Nacua.
Okay.
And Puka Nacua's off the field issues deterred me from taking him.
Yeah.
So any risk like that, I just wasn't willing to take that with my number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't blame you there. My number 3 pick, I doubled up on running back as well. So we're kind of following the same path here. And I took Josh Jacobs. Now, this is one I'm not entirely thrilled about. I mean, he's getting older. His production has taken a bit of a hit, but it was between him and like Javonte Williams, and I was really, really I wanted to take Javonte. I was really tempted, but I just think,
I mean, he's the number for Javonte. He's the number 2 back.
Yeah,
right. He's not the number 1 back over there. And for no, Javonte's in Dallas.
Yeah. He's he was taking the reps last year, but he came out of nowhere,
right,
with that. So
he could have a great season. I'm sorry, I was thinking of somebody else. That would not have been a bad pick. I think Josh Jacobs is I think
he's a bit more versatile.
He could have a great season, but he hasn't shown me enough consistency that I would have taken him that early.
Right. Yeah. I was just like, I just needed.
You had to get it back.
I had to get it back.
Yep. And you were in a tough spot there at the number 7 pick.
Right. So I just kind of cut my losses. I settled for it. So I'm not mad at it, but I definitely was kind of like, oof, I don't know. Because if Jeremiah Love doesn't hit, then my running back room is very, very scarce.
Right. For sure. Okay. Well, with the number 4 pick, I felt like I needed to fill out my starting wide receiver spots. Even at this point, there weren't a ton of great wide receivers. There weren't a ton of great running backs where I'm like, yeah, these guys are for sure starters. This player is definitely the fourth player that I would say as far as talent on my list. And it was Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you know the thing about Terry, and I had to kind of think about this one, sit with it for a little bit, because there was also Breece Hall that was available,
right?
But with Terry, Deebo Samuel's not there
right
now, and so I think that he's going to be eating a little bit more, and I don't think that they're going to jump for Brandon Ayuk.
No,
really here with the Commanders, and so I think that connection between Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin is going to just going to take another step forward.
Right.
You could see towards the end of the season last season when Terry got a little bit healthier, that things really started to click between them, and I think that that's just going to continue this season.
That's just very predicated on if Daniels can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Terry stays healthy too, but they need to have as many reps together throughout the season as possible. But we saw that connection, so I think that is a good value.
Another one that I thought about taking here, and he ended up disappearing off my board, was actually Roma Dunze. But the more that I thought about the Bears wide receiver room as well, the more I realized that it's actually starting to get pretty crowded over there as well.
It is.
They're going to have a lot of mouths to feed. So.
Yeah. And one of those mouths to feed I was considering taking at in round 4, but I decided against it because I took Tyler Warren.
I thought about taking a tight end here.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren was off the board for me at this point.
He was?
I considered it. After Tyler Warren, though, there was nobody that I was looking at where I'm like, yeah, that's the guy that I want.
Yeah. So then, because what's the marginal difference between taking somebody in this spot opposed to taking them in like the 6th or 7th round?
Well, when you're talking about wide receiver and running back talent,
it is marginal.
Yeah, it's large.
Marginable.
But larginable?
Marginable, yeah.
Instead of marginable, it's larginable.
Yeah. But with tight ends, it's a different story.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I was kind of shocked that he was, because that was the 42nd pick. I was kind of shocked he was still there. He's on the rise. You know, obviously McBride and Bowers were plucked, and Laporta, but I was kind of eyeing Laporta at this pick, hoping he would fall to me, but he got sniped. But I wasn't mad with Tyler Warren, and I believe this is 2 years in a row where I took a tight end a bit earlier than most people. So, but I think this one is definitely going to be very serviceable at where he's at. So I think that's good value.
Well, at the number 5 pick, something that you can struggle with throughout the fantasy season is running backs will start to get injured really quick, right? They're going to be in and out, and it's really tough to pick up a backup running back even just to fill your flex spot or something.
Right.
And so if one of your starters gets injured or they have a bye week or something, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
And so the last couple seasons, what I've been doing is taking a running back with my 5th pick and throwing him into my flex spot. And that has been such a successful thing for me. It's actually become such a good thing because you can get rookie wide receivers tend to be kind of a dime a dozen almost,
right?
Where they start to find success throughout the season. You don't see the same thing for rookie running backs.
Right.
It takes a long time for them to develop. They have to get the touches. Like there's a lot of factors that come into play for running backs. And so if you can get a starter with that 5th pick, then you're really going to set up your roster for success. And whenever you have a bye week, if you have to throw one of those wide receivers in there, you can, but you don't have to rely on a rookie to explode at some point, right?
Like what I'm doing. Yeah.
And so with my number 5 pick, I know he had the injury, but I love this guy. It's Bucky Irving.
I cannot believe Bucky Irving was available in the 5th round.
Yeah, I was pretty baffled.
I believe I was.
You're going to hate my number 6 pick.
I believe I was eyeing Bucky Irving in my 3rd round, and he got plucked, so I had to settle for Jacobs. That's insane. I have some on here. I was shocked that they fell that low, but that is a really good value.
Yes,
if he can stay healthy, then that's going to be a great value pick. My 5th round pick, I'm not too upset about because this guy is utilized in the red zone very heavily, and it's Davante Adams. Now,
nice.
at this point, I knew I needed to get
flex into any of your wide receiver spot or your flex position.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew at this point I needed to get another quality receiver because it was becoming very sparse in that position group. And I know that between the 20s, Puka Nacua is the guy, but if you're inside the 20-yard line, Davante Adams is so elite, and Sean McVay knows that.
We talked about
knows
this
that.
last week in our rankings, right?
Yeah.
He is the red zone target over there. So yeah, I love that pick. Good.
So if he's not getting a lot of yards between the 20s, I can sleep well at night knowing that he's going to be a reliable 6-point guy,
right?
To just help boost and alleviate some of the pressure from these other positions.
1 touchdown a week is all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you need to win your fantasy league. You know, they don't need. It's great when they score 3 touchdowns a game,
right?
But you don't need that. You know, if you can rely on them to get 1 touchdown a game, you're winning there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, at my number 6 pick, and Miles, you're going to be upset about this. I snagged Sam Laporta.
Are you serious,
I
dude? What
felt-
idiots were
Dude.
were in this
I-
mock draft with
I
you?
knew that I needed a tight end, and he showed up there. But here's something else that you have to consider. You say idiots, but veteran fantasy managers will wait to take a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Wait to take a tight end. And so Tucker Kraft was actually available. Like
Tucker Kraft was available,
a
yeah.
couple picks right before this.
Mm-hmm.
And he was taken off the board. I wasn't going to take him anyway. I was going to go with Laporta if
That's
he was
kind
there.
of shocking.
And yeah, and I kind of snagged him. But I think right around this 6-7, I know, sorry. Right around this 6-7 mark though is about where you want to start to take maybe a tight end, probably
Right.
closer to 7. And the reason why is because same like I said, those wide receiver, running back positions are so valuable. They're so important.
Mhm.
You only have one tight end spot that you have to fill.
Right.
You've got 4 between wide receiver and running back and flex. You got 5 other spots that you have to fill,
Right.
and you need them to produce. There's no like if, ands, or buts. You can have a mediocre tight end and you can still get away with it. It helps when you have a good tight end, right? But then you're almost relying on them to make up for poor play from your wide receivers or your running backs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
John, yeah, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I just got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have asked this at the beginning, or if you addressed it in the beginning and I didn't hear it because I was doing something. But what exactly? I know this is a mock draft. So this isn't like part of an actual fantasy league. What what medium did you guys use to do this? Is there like a website or somewhere where people all log in to do this? Are you competing against bots?
This one specifically is Yahoo. It is all real people that
Mhm.
that pop in and they'll draft with you. It's just practice for your like your normal fantasy draft.
Yeah.
ESPN, there's DraftKings, there's Sleeper,
Yeah.
like I said, Yahoo.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so yeah, ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
They all, even the NFL has their own
They do.
platform where you can play fantasy football. And so leading up to the football season and up to the fantasy football season, you can do mock drafts just to practice, to figure out what
I
guys are
gotcha.
out there, where you should
Yeah.
take them, at what level, even like where you're going to get the best value for your pick. So like Miles was saying, Miles was looking to take Sam Laporta around pick number 4. I caught him at 6. That's a great value pick right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you guys obviously weren't in the same draft.
No, we weren't. But I will say that a good amount of people will just turn on auto draft.
Right.
In these mock
I
drafts.
think that can be helpful too, though,
Mhm.
right? Because that does start to be how your normal draft kind of starts to go a little bit, right? Where people are going to take the highest ranked player at that spot,
Right,
and they're
yeah.
going to just start picking them out.
Mm-hmm.
So it does kind of shake out a little bit that
Yeah.
way. I think you still get a good idea of what's going to be.
You can see what the algorithm is doing, but there is just a lot more context with
Now, it's interesting that people do that because I think that's actually to their disadvantage.
it is.
Everybody knows, honestly, probably like through your top 8, everybody knows who the best players are at those
Mhm.
positions, right? When it starts to get really tough is when you get into the nitty-gritty of 9 through 15,
Mm-hmm.
because those last 6 picks can be roster changers, right? That can change your whole season. If you get a sleeper, you get somebody that you weren't expecting, you get a good defense, you get a good kicker, all of those things, right? And so I highly encourage people to not auto draft the end of it if you're serious about fantasy football.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
So Miles, who did you have at number 6?
Now, if you guys have been with us for a while, I'm not the biggest fantasy guy. This past season was when I first got back into it. So Jared, I'm curious as the fantasy guru what you think of this pick. Even just despite who the player is, the position. At number 6, round 6, I took Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Now the main reason why I did this is because the quarterbacks started flying off the board at this point. That's kind of where you kind of have to maybe buck with the trend a little bit with where these other people are taking these positions, because when you're in the middle, you're either going to have to take somebody earlier than you want, or you're just going to have to follow the trend of what everybody else is doing. So once I was seeing guys like Josh Allen and all these other guys fly off the board, I was like, I would feel more comfortable securing somebody who I can be more confident in with my quarterback position than having to wait and maybe take somebody who I wouldn't view as more serviceable.
So let me before I tell you what my 7th pick is, because I think that's going to put some things in perspective here. For Justin Herbert specifically, this is not a guy that's a fantasy god. He does typically get drafted in leagues, but what ends up happening is that Justin Herbert ends up sitting on the bench for a lot of the season. It feels like he's not a guy. He's like a very middling tier fantasy quarterback. It feels like, and maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just the leagues that I've been in. But I think that there are other guys that you wouldn't expect that could be literal fantasy gods week in and week out. For example, Jacoby Brissett. Are you going to draft Jacoby Brissett in the first round? No, right? But or even in this draft, right? You're probably not going to draft him on draft night. But there's just such a difference between like what we were doing last week, where we were ranking top 10s and looking at a fantasy draft. And Justin Herbert for me is just he's not a super serviceable.
Because you had him last year.
I wouldn't even say serviceable, because he is serviceable, but he's more of a filler guy. I think at that spot, he's going to get you points. He's probably going to get you about 20 points a week, right? But he's not going to get you the 30.
Right.
He's not going to get you the 35.
Yeah. And that's where the mobile quarterbacks push you over the edge.
And that's why my number 7 pick was Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Now, I love the spot that you took him at. If you're going to take a quarterback, I think that around, again, I'm going to do it again, 6, 7, around the 6 and 7 spot, that's usually around where I'm going to take my tight end or my quarterback. And it just depends on who's available at that spot at that time. Now, I was looking for Brock Purdy. There is a little bit of bias there, but I also think that one of the things that I talked about last week was that Brock Purdy's air yards are huge. He's going to put up a lot of yards for you.
He's really efficient
every single week. He's very efficient, and he's got a lot of mouths to feed as well. And so you're looking at touchdowns being put up, right? The 49ers, I think, averaged over 20 points a game last season, or 22 points a game, something like that last season. Kyle Shanahan's offense is quarterback friendly.
It is.
And I think that, so even if you have Brock Purdy at your number 10, you've got Justin Herbert at your number 5 in normal quarterback rankings. I think that you can look at that and say, okay, but this is the guy that's going to get me points in my fantasy league.
Right.
And so I was looking for Brock Purdy there. He was taking 2 picks before this, and Caleb Williams was my number 2. And the reason behind that is because their offense exploded last season. Their defense could not put it together, but their offense was still putting up crazy numbers week in and week out. And what really impressed me was towards the end of the season, that game against the 49ers, where their offense was just going crazy. And that was just a battle back and forth.
Right.
With their defense taking, I think, a step forward this season, that it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. They like we were just talking about, there's a lot of mouths to feed over there. I think Caleb's going to be putting up some big numbers. He can run with, he can move with his legs and escape the pocket if he has to. And I think that he overall is a good decision maker. I think he's going to take a step forward this season.
I would agree. Yeah, because he was available right there too.
I think Ben Johnson's offense also is just a great opportunity to see what Caleb's got in the tank for season number 2.
And you just reminded me of another thing I thought about with Herbert, is that Mike McDaniel is the offensive coordinator in Los Angeles.
They're
going to
be running the
intrigued.
ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I wasn't mad taking a quarterback there. I felt like my hand was a little forced, but Herbert, I mean, he's a gunslinger, and I would agree. Like, the mobile aspect can really push you over the hump with these quarterbacks. Like, there's a reason Josh Allen is QB1 every year. If not, then it's Lamar, So But I wasn't too mad at it. But we'll get to the next quarterback I take later on, which I was definitely a fan of for sure. But as of right now, in my round 7, I wanted to get yet another wide receiver, and I decided to settle with Alec Pierce.
Okay. I tried to get Alec Pierce
Yeah.
actually in my next round,
Oh, really?
and he same
Yeah.
thing, popped off the board in that round. It was tough being right in the middle, right? Because those guys at the top are going to get that first pick.
Right.
I love that pick. I think
Yeah.
he's going to have a kick-ass season.
I mean,
this
he
year.
just had a great season last year, got it extended. You know, when Daniel Jones comes back, he ran that offense really efficiently. So, and Michael Pittman's not there anymore.
Right.
So he is the lone wolf in that receiver room, and I think he's just going to take a step forward from the previous season. So I was very happy with this pick because I think it kind of cancels out where Devontae Adams lacks in terms of yard count. Alec Pierce can get more yards between the 20s, but then Devontae Adams can carry the slack with the touchdowns.
Well, and I think that if either of those guys go down, he's a very serviceable number 2 wide
Yeah.
receiver for your fantasy lineup.
Yeah.
I went a similar direction. Right around this area is where I really started to realize that running backs are very thin in this draft. It is really tough to find your running backs in this
Right.
draft.
Yeah.
And it made me thankful for taking Bucky Irving in the 5th round. Thanks to the little flash there, John.
A little teaser.
This was
Sorry,
also
my finger slipped.
no, you're good. This was actually another. Oh, well, this is my first risk that I feel like I
Yeah.
took in this draft.
Mhm.
This guy, he's unproven, right? He's a rookie, and that's going to be Mekhi Lemon. With AJ Brown out
Yeah.
of Philadelphia, and
Yep.
Devontae Adams is obviously going to be the number 1. But Mekhi Lemon at one point was touted as a top 10 draft pick.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be really interesting to see what his relationship with Jalen Hurts looks like. Maybe with the exit of AJ Brown, that changes some perspective there
Yeah.
for the Eagles and for Jalen Hurts on how he should be communicating and treating his wide receivers.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. I was willing to take the risk. I think that Mekhi Lemon is a great talent, and he has high potential to have a really good season. So,
Well, and with Jalen Hurts, he's getting a lot of flack right now in Philadelphia. He could be out the door after this year if things don't go well. He needs to have a good relationship with Mekhi Lemon and be productive. So I think that's a good risk to take, especially in the 8th round.
well,
I mean,
and Philly aggressively traded up to get him.
yeah,
There's a reason why they wanted him,
Right.
So I think that they're planning. I mean, I would hope that with that move, they're planning to utilize him.
yeah, you would think, you would hope.
I will also say Philly is not super well known for drafting wide receivers, drafting good wide receivers.
Nope.
So, these are the guys that passed on Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Nelson Aguilar, where is he at now?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a good point for sure.
So we'll see. It's a risk, but I believe in Mekhi Lemon this season.
At my 8th round pick, I knew I needed to even out with the running backs. I have 3 receivers. I need to get another running back. And I was just trying to look at like some of the highest rated ones, scrolling through them, and I don't think any of them made as much sense as RJ Harvey. Now, I'm not like over the moon with this pick. I feel like this is where he kind of is floating around in a lot of drafts with his placement. And I think just with the kind of offense that Sean Payton runs, I think a guy like Harvey can be serviceable enough to carry any slack that Josh Jacobs or Jeremiah Love aren't producing. Now, taking this, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm taking the risk with the running back spot is very dangerous because then you're having to settle for, and I like RJ Harvey. I think he can be productive, but you're having to settle more for these guys who, when you're thinking like, if Love doesn't pop and Josh Jacobs gets hurt or, blah, 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 then you're kind of putting yourself in a pickle.
So here's my thing with RJ Harvey. I agree with you. I think he's a good back.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in a lot of other systems, he could be super, super good. I think with J.K. Dobbins being there, I think that running back room is also a little bit crowded, and I'm not so sure that Sean Payton has not shown us in the last couple seasons that they can run the ball super effectively.
Yeah.
They really rely on the quarterback position to do a lot of work, and if RJ Harvey ends up being a pass catching back, that could work.
That's kind of what I was hoping for, a third down back, something like that.
If J.K. Dobbins stays healthy, I don't know how much production we're going to see out of RJ Harvey.
Right.
And he was available there for me as well. And I looked at him and I just couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger when they're in that much of a committee.
Right.
So,
no, it makes sense.
In a system that's already not feeding them super well.
And I mean, we're beating a dead horse here. The running back spot at this point in the draft is like a barren wasteland.
Right.
So
it got really bad.
Yeah,
it got really bad. So that's a note. Take your running backs early because they are going to be gone. They're going to be off the board.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even if you're gonna, I don't know, the wide receiver spot, like you already alluded to, is way easier to fill in this part of the draft, opposed to the running back. So even if you think like, I wouldn't have been upset if I reached for James Cook in the first round, just to like ease my mind and be like, okay, like he was really productive.
At least then you'd have some depth
that
you could feel comfortable about.
Yeah. So
I still love the Amon-Ra pick.
I do too.
I'm a big Amon-Ra fan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with my number 9 pick, moving on to the 9th round, with my number 9 pick, this guy, he's gonna be the number 2 wide receiver. Totally understandable. But he's been super productive in the past. He's probably working with the best quarterback that he's had his whole career, and it's going to be Michael Pittman. Yes, he's over there in Pittsburgh now. He's in a different system, but I think that having Michael Pittman there is going to draw a lot of attention off. The attention is now going to be split instead of doubling up DK.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that both mouths are going to be able to eat over there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that makes sense. I was kind of looking for Michael Pittman a little bit, but he had to have been off the board at this point because I had a little bit of a tough time justifying this to myself. But I doubled up on tight end in round 9, which you might consider a cardinal sin, but
depends on who the tight end is.
I took Dallas Goedert. Now, my reasoning for this is Jalen Hurts does like to feed Dallas Goedert, and with A.J. Brown out of the offense, and if Mekhi Lemon isn't working out, then Dallas Goedert's going to be the number 2 pass catcher. So
it's possible, yeah.
And I know Jalen Hurts loves to feed his tight ends, so that's kind of my justification for it, but I didn't like taking 2 tight ends in the first 9 rounds.
My thing about Dallas Goedert is I feel like that's a guy that you get off the waivers if you wanted to, or somebody similar. For a couple of my positions, there's a couple areas that I don't double up on, unless there's by some miracle a top 5 quarterback ended up down there. I'm not taking a second quarterback.
Right.
I'm not taking a second tight end. I'm not taking a second defense. I'm not taking a second kicker.
No,
right.
No.
Not gonna do any of that. You're gonna see as we go through here, my entire bench is gonna be filled with wide receivers and they're gonna be filled with running backs. And the reason why is because those are the positions that get injured the most.
Right.
And you have to have the most depth at. Again, you only have to fill one tight end spot. If your tight end gets injured, you can feel more comfortable dropping one of those wide receivers because you have a plethora of them.
Right.
And either moving your tight end to an IR spot, or if they're done for the season, letting them go and just grabbing someone else, because the value that you're going to get off the waivers is going to be the same that you're probably getting at that number 9 pick at tight end at this point in the draft.
Okay.
And so I always feel pretty comfortable just letting them slip. I've never had a big issue where I'm like, man, if I had a tight end, I would have won my league.
Right.
It's never going to be something that you're going to hear from me.
Okay. Yeah, and I know you've talked about that before too. Round 10.
Round 10. All right, yeah. So at this point in the draft, I was really hurting for another running back. Like you can see there, it had been 5 rounds since I had taken a running back. The running backs were starting to get really slim.
Yeah.
And I decided to go with Aaron Jones.
Okay.
I felt like this was a good value pick at number 10, and I know that he's in a committee with Jordan Mason.
Mm-hmm.
However, Jordan Mason is very injury prone.
Yeah.
And Aaron Jones has his own issues with the
And he's
injury
older.
bug, but whoever's healthy is who's gonna play.
Right.
And so I feel pretty confident. Jordan Mason was off the board by this point, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna feed that mouth until he can't run.
Right.
But I felt like Aaron Jones was getting a lot of good third down carries, a lot of good goal line carries around this time of the year.
Okay.
So
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just keep stacking up. Keep stacking up. You're sticking true to your system here.
Hasn't done me dirty yet, man.
No, it hasn't.
I'm top 1% in Yahoo fantasy football players, man.
Yeah, you've been doing this a long time. Now my ways are a bit more unorthodox, but I did start. What was it, like 10-0? This 10-0 this last
that's
fantasy
beginner luck,
season.
man.
No.
That was beginner luck.
There's not going to be a sophomore slump.
You could have auto drafted and gone 10-0. Get out of here, dude.
My round 10 selection, I saw this guy and I was like, there's just something telling me I need to take him.
Carson Beck.
God, I wish. I settled for something worse, but I took Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Now, it's kind of the same thing with Justin Herbert. These two are gunslingers,
right?
But I feel like I think it would be nice to have 2 quarterbacks that you can alternate between each and every week, just even depending on like the defense they're going up against.
Right.
If I had like Josh Allen and Dirt McGirt at my quarterbacks, but Josh Allen's going up against the Houston defense, it's kind of like, oh God, but I think, again, no mobility between these two. Well, I mean, Herbert can be a little mobile, but he's not gonna break your back doing that. But Matthew Stafford, he is very efficient through the air, and he has those weapons to feed, and he's really great in the red zone as well. Doubling up with him and Devontae, I think, can be very efficient. So it was going to be tough for me to see him there and then watch him go, because I knew I wanted to take another quarterback, and some of these other guys I didn't want to take a risk on.
Matthew Stafford is absolutely the MVP.
Yeah.
And season in and season out, I see Matthew Stafford hanging around on the waiver.
I think he was around. I think he was on the waiver last year at some point too. Yeah.
And it's not because he's not a great quarterback. It's not because the Rams don't have mouths to feed. It's not because he's not efficient. For whatever reason, he just same thing. He's a 20-point guy.
Right.
And that's great. And he's a great backup for your bye week or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about it where he's just not, I guess, same thing. He's just not a fantasy god,
right?
And I'm not knocking it, because you could swap Caleb and Matthew right there, and I'd feel just as comfortable as I do. I'm taking a big risk by taking Caleb Williams, so I'm not saying that my pick there is better, by any means.
But I think you just have more upside with the risk you're taking.
I think that the ceiling is higher. That doesn't mean that this couldn't be the year that Matthew Stafford becomes a fantasy god.
Right.
But as history has shown, and Matthew Stafford has had some very good teams and some very good players around him, he's just not a fantasy god.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. At number 11, another risk. But he's in a new system, on a new team, with a young quarterback. And he's got A.J. Brown to draw the coverage off of him. I went with Romeo Doubs.
I
think he's going to be
exact same spot. I was looking for this guy.
Oh man, dude, he is going to be, I think, a crazy downfield threat this season. I think that they're going to scheme him up right.
Yep.
And they paid him a lot of money. There's no way they're not going to feed the mouth.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I was looking for Romeo Dobbs, same exact round, and unfortunately he was taken right in front of me. But I'm not mad at who I took instead of him. In the 11th round, I took Wan'Dale Robinson.
Okay.
Now he's kind of similar thing. He's going to Tennessee. He's going to play with Cam Ward, and he has Brian Dable as his OC. So he's already familiar with the system. Now, if he's going to kind of emerge as a 1B, 1A guy for Cam Ward potentially, I think this could be really great value and potentially even a steal.
I think that's a great pick at that spot. I think he's a super underrated fantasy prospect. There were times last season where Wan'Dale Robinson was one of the best, was a top 5 wide receiver, that, in his week.
Right.
I think that given an opportunity in a system that he's already comfortable with a young quarterback who is set to have a big sophomore season.
Yeah.
I love that pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pretty stoked with that. And I mean, even though it kind of broke my heart to see Dobbs get taken, I was still like,
that's great value at number 11, man.
Yeah.
I had Wan'Dale on my bench for a lot of last season, and there were times where I needed to flex him in there, and he was super serviceable during those times. And so I think that he's better off in this system, and I don't think that he would have had the same opportunities if he had stayed there in New York. So,
right.
All right, at the number 12 spot. Now, I was looking to take the Rams defense in this spot.
Really? Okay.
And the pick, your picks just start to get sniped right out from under you as you get into these late rounds.
Yep.
And the Rams defense got sniped right out from under me. But I decided to go with what I felt was the second best option. And it hurts me to do this because this means I got to root against my own defense twice a year. But it was the Seahawks defense.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. I think regardless of whatever their offense looks like this season, without their former offensive coordinator, I think that their defense is still going to eat.
Yeah.
And they've still got a lot of really good young pieces on that defense that are probably, same thing, going to take a step forward.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't take defense for another couple rounds because nobody was taking any. Not like I was kind of like I'm gonna play with the chips that are falling to me.
I like to sometimes around this pick. I like to start doing it just so that everyone else starts to waste their picks a little bit. Yeah, because if you're not gonna get like I would say one of the top 3 defenses at this spot, wait.
Just don't
it's worth it to wait. But if you can snipe that top one right around here, and also the rest of the value of players that were kind of hanging around, I just wasn't super concerned about what was left over.
Right.
I still was gonna have to take a kicker at some point in that area, and I had a couple guys that I felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
So
now I want you to tell me if you find this shocking that this guy was available. He's older. He's not the fantasy god he used to be, but it's pick 12, I picked up Alvin Kamara, and I was a little shocked to see him here, and I was willing to take that risk, knowing that he is a little bit older, but he can be used in so many different ways in the offense, and he's got a young quarterback, Kellen Moore, going into year 2 of their system.
Do you know what the issue is and why he's fallen to this low?
Why?
Because Travis Etienne is over there now.
And I didn't think about that when I took him.
Travis Etienne is going to eat this season.
I completely forgot about that.
I would even go as far as to say that the offense is going to run through Travis Etienne this season. Alvin Kamara could see a couple touches here or there, but he's really injury prone. His production has fallen way off. I'll be honest, I don't think that the Saints are like a big fan. At this point, he's probably cheap.
Yeah.
And so with Travis Etienne coming into that system and taking over that lead role, they're a one-back system over there. So if Etienne goes down, though, that could really work out. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, no, because at the time I completely forgot about Etienne signing with the Saints.
Yeah.
So
After the
I was
season
just
he just had with Jacksonville, I think he's going to come in super strong here with the Saints.
I had my rose tinted glasses on, seeing him there, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you saw the name and you got
And
excited.
I was like, yeah.
I don't blame you because I think I like saw him at one point and I was like, oh man, if this was 2 years ago,
Oh yeah.
there's no way you're all the way down at number,
Exactly.
at this number 12 pick.
Right.
All right, at the number 13 spot, I wanted to continue to fill out my running backs. Still not feeling comfortable with the 4. You never know what's going to happen. 3 of them are in my starting lineup. So I wanted to make sure that I still had some depth on my bench if anything came up.
Right.
This is a guy that's taken over the number 1 role at different times, but I think that he's going to be working through a little bit more of a committee right now over there in Houston, now that David Montgomery has shown up. But I felt at this position, I felt like this was good value, and that's why I took Woody Marks.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't really see Woody floating around that much. I don't know. I probably wasn't really looking for him, but I just didn't see him and his name floating around there.
He's a guy that can flex into that starting role if something happens to David Montgomery, and Montgomery's no spring chicken. You know what I mean? He's an older guy. He's suffered some injuries over the last couple seasons, and when he's healthy, he's a great back.
Yeah.
He's not the most reliable, and as far as being injury prone.
Yeah.
And so Woody Marks could end up having a good season if David Montgomery goes down.
Well, and he's played second fiddle to Gibbs for the last handful of years, so
right. So he hasn't had to take on a big load.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. Round 13, I was just kind of at this point where I was like, fuck it. I saw this guy and I was like, if he just decides to play offense, maybe it could work. And I took Travis Hunter. I was just kind of like, because I knew kicker and defense, I gotta take him at some point, but I was just like, screw it.
You know what? I saw Travis Hunter here and I thought that this was like the funniest thing to see him pop up and just look at his projection for the year.
Yeah.
It was abysmal.
It was not good.
I just don't think he's going to see a lot of production. He's going to be a defender now. He kind of had his chance to pick between the two, and I feel like he just kind of messed that up. I remember. I love that you took him here though, because if by some miracle he ends up
then
going
this is
off,
gonna be an absolute steal.
Yeah, right.
But I do remember one of the last picks I had last year was Michael Wilson, and look what happened.
Right.
So maybe I saved some magic juju for my boy Travis, but we'll have to wait and see.
That's awesome. All right. Had the number 14 pick, man, the self-proclaimed Durant to the Warriors himself, Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Addison has had a lot of issues over there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Juwan Jennings is a really secure set of hands. He plays the slot well, and he's a reliable guy. He's a reliable guy. He's obviously not going to be the number 1, right? Justin Jefferson is going to eat over there.
Right.
But I think that Kyler Murray loves his number 2 guy, and I think Juwan Jennings is going to end up being the number 2 guy in this offense. So,
okay. I definitely saw Juwan floating around there a lot, but just Travis Hunter, man, he was calling to me. And this is where we get a little boring. In my 14th pick, it was time to take a kicker. And I took
kicker before defense?
Yeah, there was no good defense. And you can what I did last year was just try to pick up some defenses on the waiver for favorable matchups.
You know what? And I think that that's fine, man. I've gone through seasons where I rotate my defense every single week because you never really know what defenses are going to start to pop off, right? Who's going to have the best season. And so if you watch the trends through the first 6 weeks, you can get a really good defense off the waiver, and you just got to hang on to them.
Right.
So I don't hate that strategy.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not mad at the defense I selected last, but for 14, settled with kicker. Kaimi Fairbairn for Houston, I believe. Yeah.
Okay,
So, you know, you're not going to get Brandon Aubrey right here. You can. I had Dicker the kicker last year. He got taken in front of me. So this was one where I was kind of like, you know, it is what it is.
Right. And same thing. I think same thing with kickers. You can rotate a new kicker in there every single week and just look for the favorable matchup, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
For myself, it was Eddie Pinheiro.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
you know, I figured if I'm going to take a kicker and they're all going to put up right about the same amount of points.
They're putting up like 7 points a week.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you could even remove this position from a fantasy league and you're going to be okay. But at least I get to root for him week in and week out that he's going to make that kick. And he's been pretty accurate this season. So, or last season.
Yeah. And then to top it off, the defense I selected at 15 was Kansas
Arizona
City.
Cardinals.
No, God, no. It would get me negative points.
New England wasn't available there at the 15th pick?
Nope. It was Kansas City was going to be my best bet. And I can't believe I'm spacing the defensive coordinator's name over there, but he's always run a very tight ship. You know, they shipped off Trent McDuffie, but then they drafted another name I'm forgetting, Delane, Mansour Delane.
Right.
So they have his replacement
to the Rams.
Yeah, traded McDuffie to the Rams, drafted his replacement in the first round this year. So it was just kind of like they have a tight ship, and if they're going to be shitty, then I don't care dropping them.
Who's their coordinator? It's not.
It's
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
starts with an S, right?
Steve Spagnuolo.
Spagnuolo. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on. Well, yeah, these are our mock drafts. Mine, when I looked at how they graded me, it was not great. But you know what? I love that. I love to get an F rating because 9 times out of 10, whatever system is generating those grades doesn't know what the fuck it is talking about.
Yeah.
And those are my best seasons. So
Right.
I felt really good about my lineup here. Lots of running back depth. You know, I think they grade you always. I feel like they grade me like that because I don't take an extra tight end, because I don't take an extra quarterback. You know, I don't fill those backup spots. I feel comfortable with where I'm at. So
yeah. Well, and if you turn on auto draft, you're going to get an A every time, you know, because it's
exactly.
like that's their own algorithm. So yeah, but I mean, this was fun, and I definitely want to run some more leading up to our draft night. Because
for sure.
it's because I don't even know what spot I'm in.
Well, and I wonder, can you do a mock draft for a dynasty league? We'll have to look
don't know.
We'll have to look into that and see.
Yeah.
But moving on from our draft, we'll end up doing some more drafts, and we'll be talking about what our picks are once our actual teams kind of start to come together.
Yep.
I believe one of our upcoming draft nights is August 14th. Is that
Something like
correct?
that.
Yeah, so it'll be pretty early into the preseason.
Yeah.
A little earlier than I normally would like. I like to draft around after the second week of preseason, just so that you can get any of those injuries out of the way.
Right.
But we're gonna do it a little bit early, so you know, start taking some risks.
Clench your butthole a little bit.
You guys gonna do anything with these teams that you built? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, like the mocks we just did.
I mean, could we simulate a season with them? That would be kind of sick.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I wonder if we could do a fantasy simulator or something like that.
Yeah.
And like just input them. We'll have to look for something.
There might be something around.
Yeah, if we do, we will let you guys know. And we'll definitely.
Yeah. Well, because that's one you would definitely draft against bots,
Right.
and then simulate all of it. But, you know, we'll have to look and see into that, because that would be interesting. But I think the main thing we're taking away from this is just the knowledge of where some of these players are being touted,
Right.
and what you're kind of looking at with your draft position.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. Well, it is time for our one game that we're going to do today, and it's going to be the headphone game. Typically we've been doing like about 4 games an episode, and this is just a short episode week. We did our mock draft. We knew that was going to take up a lot of time, and but we wanted to throw a little bit of fun in there. So
Yeah, and
Miles?
especially after last week's long episode.
yes,
Yeah.
that was the longest episode I think we've ever done.
I think it.
I'm
we're a little
excited
under
to get
2
back
hours.
into the dual threat bet too.
Mhm.
Coming up here, we're gonna have to talk about what that punishment is gonna look like.
Yeah.
And start looking into some hobby horsing.
Yep.
That's gotta come full circle.
Now I will connect to these.
Yeah, let me get these going here. Are you gonna start us off, Miles?
I can start us off. Yeah.
Okay.
I would just. Oh, beautiful! It already connected. I
Sweet.
was just thinking of doing some white noise on YouTube. Is that okay?
No. You gotta put on Eye of the Tiger.
Oh yeah, John was singing this earlier. He came in here with the
That's not
confidence
the name
of
the
a.
song. Roar from Katy Perry.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn it down so I don't jump scare you. All right, let me know. Can you hear it in the mic? We don't want to get copyrighted.
Yeah, it's okay. You can barely.
Okay. All right. You ready? You ready? Okay. Brandon Ayuk did nothing wrong. I'm Jared Young, and I approve this message.
Say the first part again.
Brandon Ayuk did nothing wrong. Brandon Ayuk. You know this guy.
Bangkok.
Brandon.
Brett.
Brandon.
Brecken. Breckenridge.
This is geography. Brandon Ayuk.
Practice. Brandon Ayuk.
Yes. Did nothing wrong.
Did nothing wrong. I'm Jared Young, and I approve this
Yes,
message.
Yes. Clip it.
That clip could go hard just because you can hear on like the smallest like volume.
You can
level,
hear the.
You can
the
hear
lore.
just. I've got the
Getting fucking amped to clear Brandon Ayuk's name.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, you're gonna like mine. It's real short.
Yay. Okay. All right.
Are you ready? Okay. It's giving baggy condom energy.
Steven's balls. Steven Spielberg.
It's actually.
This is so loud.
It's not that bad.
It's giving baggy condom energy.
Stevie?
It's
Say it again.
it is. It is.
You're like barely moving your mouth. I have no idea.
It is.
Talkies.
It is.
What?
It is. I don't know what the fuck to do here.
I think you might just have to give him the first word. That's a hard one to like mouth.
It's giving.
Stevie.
It's giving.
Maybe
Steven?
Can you like wand?
Are you starting with like
just the first word?
what was that?
It's no use.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I thought maybe.
I mean, did I do it? Do I do it all right? I feel like I drew that in the air pretty well.
Well, I think most people don't use the I that's like sandwiched from the top. Just maybe the.
Mm.
Oh, you got to do it because it's reversed. It's like a mirror, right? So it's.
All right. Hey, look at me.
Are
Hey.
you playing tic-tac-toe?
Hey, look at me. It's
It's. Okay.
it's giving
It's
giving
even.
giving giving
Giving.
baggy
Bad?
baggy
It's giving.
baggy
Is it a B? It's giving.
baggy
Baggy?
baggy condom energy.
On the couch?
It's giving baggy.
Oh, sorry. I'm not speaking in the mic.
It's giving baggy
It's giving baggy.
condom
baggy pants,
Condom.
baggy
Condom.
condom, baggy condom. Oh, whoa.
Energy.
It's giving baggy condom.
Energy.
Say it again.
Energy.
Actor,
Energy.
anchor,
Energy.
answer,
Energy.
angel.
Energy.
Oh my God, it's so loud. It's giving baggy condom energy.
Energy.
Energy, okay.
yes. Oh man.
I was like so convinced you were saying Steve or like Stevie
Yeah,
in the
no,
beginning.
I was trying
so
to say
confused.
it's.
You were like,
It's.
I thought you were like purposely trying to like.
I didn't even close my lips, so there was no room for the V. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, when Katy Perry's really amping you up,
I know. Yeah,
it's hard to focus.
What a hype woman.
I apologize. I was like so locked in, I forgot to speak into the mic.
I love when you get so excited for the games because you're literally like,
Yeah.
Don't
you
worry
get, you
about
get 2 feet away from me and
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
eyes just get massive.
Don't worry about being far away from your mic because I'm pretty sure Jared's picked it all up. For you.
Yeah. We're sharing the mic.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that is our show for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and remember, your mock draft is perfect until you actually have to draft against people who know what they're doing. We'll see you next week.